What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day. Remember, before we get to those pitches, hit that subscribe button, join Ninja Nation, and without further ado, here are my filthiest pitches of the day. I'm going to start with Braxton Garrett, who had 11 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up no runs and only 2 hits. Most of those Ks were on these disgusting sliders. Look at these, virtually unhittable. Carlos Carrasco had 6 Ks in 6 innings, giving up no runs thanks to his sliders. Martin Perez had 9 Ks in 5 innings, giving up only 1 run thanks to his cutter and changeup. His ERA this year, 2.68. Tyler Anderson threw 6 scoreless innings and had 4 strikeouts and had these nasty leg kicks. Seriously, that leg kick gives me leg yips. Kevin Gausman had 6 Ks thanks to these nasty splitters. Kyle Wright had 4 strikeouts in 7 innings and had these sick curveballs. Reed Detmers had this slider and delayed sword. Cutter Crawford was sharp. Get it? Cutter, sharp. Thanks to his filthy cutter. Here's an overlay of his fastball and cutter, and you can see how those work together. And then a 3-pitch overlay with his fastball, cutter, and curveball. He had 6 strikeouts in 6 innings. Drew Rasmussen had these 97-mile-an-hour fastballs. Framber Valdez had 6 Ks thanks to his cutter and curveball. Luis Castillo was brilliant. He had 8 Ks in 7 innings, lowering his ERA to 2.77. He K'd hitters with style. He had K-bows, spins, lunges, fist pumps. I love watching this guy pitch. It's going to make some team very happy. It's just not going to be the Reds because he's about to get traded. My man passed his audition with flying colors. He had this 99-mile-an-hour two-seamer, which may have been the pitch of the night. This thing had 20 inches of run. He gets the freeze on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball that starts out looking like it's going to be inside and ends up on the outer third. He was up against Nestor Cortes, and Nestor had the windup of the year so far. Check this thing out. My man almost falls down. Forget foreign substance checks. They should give sobriety checks before you pitch. In the most anticipated matchup of the night, Carlos Rodon had these wicked sliders and overpowering fastball, getting him 7 Ks in 5 innings. Rodon did his best Houdini imitation, getting out of a bases-loaded jam, K'ing the next 3 hitters. He just imposes his will. And I love this sequence. Pedro Severino really wanted to walk. He takes off headed to first base on 2 pitches that were pretty much in the strike zone. Rodon stares at him like, what the heck? And then Severino eventually works the walk, and Rodon just like, yeah, you got me. Even though Rodon pitched great, he was outdueled by Corbin Burnes, who had 10 strikeouts in 7 1/3 innings, giving up only 1 earned run. Burnes had wicked curveballs, and his changeup looked about as good as I've seen it all year. Plus, he still had his vicious cutters. And with that combo, hitters are in trouble. He lowered his ERA to 2.14 this year and is clearly a contender for back-to-back Cy Youngs. Although, Sandy Alcantara will be tough to catch. Part of the reason Burnes is so dominant is because of the framing abilities of his catchers. Look at this subtle frame by Victor Caratini. He might have gotten the call if Angel Hernandez was behind the plate. But my filthiest pitcher of the day was Triston McKenzie. Triston McKenzie was outstanding. He had 12 strikeouts and 8 scoreless innings thanks to these amazing curveballs. Look at these things. And you can see what makes that curveball so tough in this overlay with his fastball. McKenzie uses that elevated fastball and curveball combo really well. Opponents are only hitting 106 against his curveball, and it's got over a 43% whiff rate. And here's McKenzie describing his curveball grip from my interview with him.
Go at the top of this horseshoe right here, and I try and tuck it as deep as possible and create a little bit of separation so I feel the ball almost like along the inside of this middle finger, so that like when I start to rip it or I really want to get on top of it or throw it hard, I don't feel like the ball's gonna get away from me. I can get to the front of the ball and I can get that true like on top of it feeling and feel like the ball's not necessarily coming up out of my hand, it's coming straight out like my fastball and going straight down.
Mostly middle finger, is it that it's middle finger dominant?
It's honestly, I feel like I could take my pointer finger off of it and I almost press the ball in with my thumb. So I feel like I could hold it and throw it almost like this.
In minor league ball, Jacob deGrom had his rehab assignment, and DeGoat's fastball was up to 100 miles an hour, and his slider, well, it was deadly. Here's an overlay of his fastball and slider, and check out this 93 mile an hour slider. Disgusting. Now on to my filthiest relievers. Camilo Doval had this 99 mile an hour dotted fastball, and then this nasty slider. Lucas Litke had this bend the knee sword. Ryan Presley had this curveball with 3,268 RPMs. Buzzsaw. John Schreiber had this slider, and there's a lot to unpack here. Look at that bat go flying. And my filthiest pitch by a reliever last night was Devin Williams' airbender. Check this one out. You can see why he has a 48.5% whiff rate on that freaking UFO. And now, my pitching ninja moment of zen. Yes, it's another opposite of zen. Kyle Freeland losing his mind.
Wow.
What is up, Ninja Nation? With Corbin Burnes being dominant last night and Sandy Alcantara throwing today, I thought I'd go over the NL Cy Young odds from FanDuel. Obviously, Sandy Alcantara is the clear favorite. He's been really good this year and pitches a ton of innings. He's so much fun to watch. But Corbin Burnes has also been really, really good. His ERA this year, 2.14. He has 144 strikeouts, which leads the NL. He has an 11.4 K per nine. His whip is just a hair under 0.9, and he gives up fewer than 6 hits per nine, and has a batting average against of 180. But if you look at ERA plus, Sandy Alcantara's is outstanding at 238. And Alcantara leads the major leagues in WAR among pitchers by a substantial margin. What are your favorite stats when you're trying to determine who should win the Cy Young, and who would be your pick given the current odds?